So I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. I hope that I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good morning. So tell me, how is your answer writing practice going on? How is your answer writing practice going on? Have you written the answers of the last day? Last day we have discussed topics with respect to PIL. We have discussed topic with respect to okay. So I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Last day we have seen some articles I have given you two questions, one related to PIL and one related to El Nino and La Nina. I have given this one question to you related to El Nino and La Nina. So tell me about this one question. How many of you have written this one part? How many of you have written this answer? Here we had an answer about the El Nino and La Nina. So how many of you have written this answer? Good morning. So you have written this answer. Now tell me, when we talk about this answer, what is the extra thing which you have mentioned? You have written about it, fine. So tell me one thing. Have you made map or diagram for this? Have you made a map or diagram for this explaining El Nino and La Nina? How many of you have made map for this? Map and flow chart. How many of you have created a map and a flow chart for this answer? Good morning, Arman. So if you are writing a geography question, it is a necessity. It is a necessity that in these type of questions you have to create some map, and it's quite simple. You don't have to go into too much detail. What you have to simply draw, like suppose that if you have to write this answer, first of all in the introduction we can give this one thing, that Indian monsoon is a culmination of many such factors which include El Nino, La Nina, Indian Ocean Dipole and others. So you can just give, first thing, you can give an introduction of Indian monsoon. You can give an intro on Indian monsoon. That is one idea. Or you can simply mention about El Nino and La Nina also. You can mention about El Nino and La Nina also. Okay. That here the question is asking you. How El Nino and La Nina impact Indian monsoon. So you have two options. Either you can talk about what is about the Indian monsoon, or you can talk about El Nino and La Nina. Okay. So that can be the introduction of it. I am suggesting you to write about Indian monsoon, because then you can cover even this part in the introduction that is related to Indian Ocean Dipole. So I think many of you may have started simply with what is El Nino and La Nina, but I will suggest you that, see here, the question is saying how El Nino and La Nina impact Indian monsoon, and highlight the role of Indian Ocean Dipole in this. So when you start with that Indian monsoon is a culmination of many such geophysical phenomena. It is impacted by ITCZ, warming of Tibetan Plateau, shift of the jet streams, masculine high, El Nino, La Nina, and at the same time it is also impacted by Indian Ocean Dipole and Pacific Decadal Oscillation. So this is one way you can start your answer. This is one of the way where you can start your answer directly with a part of what is Indian monsoon. Okay, so this is the first portion. Now when you have to define El Nino and La Nina, what you have to do, you have to make a map of Australia. Okay, you have to make a map of Australia. You have to show that in general this is the circulation, that in general this is the circulation pattern, that during the neutral phase this is the circulation pattern, or during the La Nina phase we see that there is deposition of warm water, deposition of warm water, which leads to formation of low pressure. And you can show that at the same time on this side, on the part of Africa, on the part of India, you can see that that on the part of India there is a formation of low pressure, here there is formation of high pressure, here there is formation of low pressure, here there is formation of high pressure. And then you can show that how the wind direction will be this, the wind direction will be like this, and at the same time the Indian southwesterly monsoon winds, they will be pushed towards India, they will be pushed towards India. So when you have to make a answer of geography, it is required for you to show it in the form of map. और देखो मैप के फॉर्म में और फ्लो चार्ट के फॉर्म में बहुत ही कम वर्ड्स में आप इसको लिख सकते हो. So here you don't have to use too many words. Rather than that, you can simply do it by making the maps. और मैप पे ही अच्छे से फ्लो चार्ट बनाओ. Explain it that during El Nino what happens, during La Nina what happens. And then you have to again make the map of Indian Ocean dipole, positive phase and negative phase. This was one answer which could have been written just with the help of maps. और सोचो मैप से कितनी अधिक क्लैरिटी रहेगी. How much clarity will be there that you are defining it through the map also, and at the same time you are explaining it with the help of a flow chart. So this is what can make your answer unique in this one question. तो मैप जो है उसमें आप में से किसी ने बनाया नहीं था? Rishabh, if you want, you can mention sea bridge and land bridge, but sea bridge and land bridge is a permanent phenomena. That is not related to monsoon as such, because monsoon winds are different. So this is one part which you will have to do now. When you are getting a geography question, this is the part of the learning that if we are getting a question in geography, then what should be our approach? We have to make the map here. Okay, and with map and flowchart, geography questions can be very well explained. So एक question आप फिर से लिखोगे? Can you write this answer once again, like you are getting Sunday? So on Sunday you can again try to make this map. You can again try to write this answer. Okay. Now at the same time there was also one challenge part. PILs have emerged as a cornerstone of justice in India. However, there are several challenges in it. Critically examine. This was the second question also. This was the second question here, that PILs have emerged as a cornerstone of justice in India. However, there are several challenges to it. Last day we have discussed about this PIL movement. हम लोगों ने कल इसके बारे में डिस्कस किया था. We have seen the relevance of it. We have seen the reforms which are needed. We have seen the challenges which are there. Now, if we are talking about the pattern of answer, first you can give a about intro about the PIL. What actually is PIL? Then you can mention that how it has ensured justice. How it has ensured justice. Here you can give some examples. Here you can give certain examples, like the examples related to right to privacy, the examples related to the transgender rights, the examples related to transgender rights. Okay. If you want, yes, you can start it with Supreme Court judgment also with respect to that Justice P.N. Bhagwati case. Okay. So that is one thing which you can start. You can start with the Supreme Court case also. You can start with Supreme Court case also. Then you have to mention how it has ensured justice. You have to give some examples. You can give example of transgender rights, you can give example of environment, you can give examples of right to privacy and many other such things which has been there. The shelter homes in Delhi, the pollutions in Delhi and many other parts which are example of PIL, that how PIL has ensured justice, safe environment, right to health, right to education and many other things in India. Okay. Then now at the same time I can mention then that what are the challenges, what are the challenges which are there, what are the challenges which are there. Once you have mentioned the challenges, you can also make a part about what is the relevance of it, relevance of it. Then you can mention the reforms which are needed in it, reforms needed, and then you can mention the conclusion. So have you followed all these steps? This is part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5 and part 6. Total 6 different parts are there. Total 6 different parts are there, and see it's quite beautifully arranged also. Like you can write introduction in 25 words, you can write conclusion in 25 words. For the rest of them, you can give like a weightage of 50 words for each of them. How it has ensured justice, what are the challenges, the relevance of it, the reforms of it. So this is one part which you can do here in this answer. Okay. First you have to give intro, then you have to give example, then you have to mention challenges, then you have to mention the relevance, the reforms of it and the conclusion. और इन सब पे हम लोगों ने कल डिस्कस किया था कि व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ इट, इसमें क्या क्या कंपोनेंट्स हैं, ये सारी चीजें हमने लिखी थी. So this is what you have to do in answer writing. See, answer writing is something in which you have to find a performer, in which you have to find a structure. अगर आपने एक बार वो स्ट्रक्चर को आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया, once you have been able to identify that how it can be arranged, how it can be written, then you can easily write any answer. तब आप बहुत ही आसानी से कोई भी आंसर को लिख सकते हो. So this is one beauty of the answer writing. Once you understand the pattern, writing it becomes quite easy. At the same time, you can write it in time limit. You can also write it within the word limit. Okay. तो इसमें word limit, time limit सभी चीजें fulfill हो जाती है. Plus you are fulfilling the demand of the question also. Okay. So we have given examples also, challenges also, relevance, reforms and conclusion. So now let's move on. Okay. Now generally on Saturday, what we see that the editorials are few. जैसे आज हिंदू में एक ही editorial है. Okay. First time your words have gone up to 260, it has come down to 245. So see, I think you have all got the word limit clear now. What is the time which you have taken? इसमें आपको टाइम कितना लग रहा है लिखने में? How much time you have taken? Yes, Rishabh, please ask. Sir, it is an important subheading whenever social related. It is an important subheading whenever social related question come over. We need to write relevance or reform needed on it. Generally yes. Generally you will require it. What is the difference between judicial activism and judicial overreach? Okay. Just to give you an example. When we are talking about judicial activism, you may have seen that what is the nature of Indian state? The nature of Indian state is a welfare state. The people have got Article 21, which says that the Article 21, which says that the person will have a right to life. Can a person enjoy their right to life if they're having no such, no such like no such shelter, no such homes? अगर एक व्यक्ति के पास घर नहीं है तो can they have their right to life? Can they have their right to life with dignity? They cannot have their right to life with dignity. So we have seen that the court has instructed the government to create shelter homes. Court has given the direction to the government to create shelter homes for those people who are beggars, those people who don't have homes, those people who are sleeping on the footpath on the roadside. Okay. So this is one part where judiciary has given a direction. Judiciary has given a direction to the government that you have to do this. That you have to do this. So there the judiciary has not been like judging anything, but it is giving a policy direction which is important for the fundamental rights. Which is important for the fundamental rights. So here we can say that there is a judicial activism. There is a judicial activism where judiciary has gone out of the scope of the traditional law. It has used the natural justice principle in order to ensure the justice for the people. Now on the other hand, we have seen that judiciary has also given an order that at what distance there should be liquor shops around the highways. At what distance there should be liquor shops around the highways. Now this is one part where judiciary can say that the liquor shop should not be near the highway. But when they are deciding it, that at what distance it should be there, then it is something which is going into the policy domain. It is something which is going in policy domain. The judiciary here could have simply instructed the government that there should be no liquor shops near the highway. But setting a criteria for it, that at what much distance, at how much distance. Now this is something which depends. This is something which depends on local factors also. This is something which depends on local factors, geographical factors, many other factors are there. So then the government will make policy keeping in mind all these factors. So when judiciary go in micromanagement of things, then it becomes a challenge. In coal block allocation also, the judiciary was seeking day-to-day report. The judiciary was seeking day-to-day report from the government. So again, that was one part where there was a micromanagement. So when there is a micromanagement, when there is a entry of judiciary in the policy domain, then it is generally called as judicial overreach. Okay. However, there are different interpretations of it. One may consider it as judicial overreach, other may not consider it. Okay. Like some people, some experts may say that the direction of the Supreme Court on liquor liquor shops near the highway is a judicial overreach. On the other hand, some people may say that yes, it was very much necessary because people are drinking and driving, and that leads to accidents which can cause huge burden on people, which can cause huge loss to the people. So there is no such fixed definition of it. There is no such fixed criteria for it. It is something which is subjective in nature. So it depends from person to person, that they can have different interpretation for this one. Okay, Rishabh. So there is no fixed criteria. It is according to the experts. What experts believe. One expert may say one thing about one part, some may say other different things. Okay. Like just to give an example, last day we were having a case. Last day we have seen that there was a case which was related to a rape victim, Now in that case, judiciary has said this one part, that the rape victim should be allowed to go for termination of pregnancy even in 30 weeks. Now here judiciary has just given a direction to the government that you should be amending the law to make it 30 weeks, or you have to remove the time limit. Last day there was an article in the newspaper where we have seen that the judiciary has said to the government of India that you should consider removing the time limit on abortion in case of a minor rape survivor. Then in case of a minor rape survivor, you should do away with the time limit of abortion. Now here the Supreme Court has just given a recommendation to the government. So it cannot be considered a judicial overreach. But if the Supreme Court would have made this as a law that now from this there will be no such time limit, if judiciary goes into the domain of lawmaking, if judiciary goes into the domain of legislative writing, then it becomes somewhat judicial overreach. Judiciary has again recommended one more thing, that the property of the rape, of the person who has committed the rape of a minor, should be given to the victim. That the property of a person who is convicted of raping a minor should be given entirely to the rape victim. Now in that situation, again Supreme Court has just given a recommendation. It has not made a law for this, or it has not said that now this will be applicable. So right now judiciary has given a direction to the government. So that remains within the right of the judiciary. If judiciary would have made a proper law for this, that from tomorrow onwards this will be applicable, so that will be a part where judiciary will enter into the law making process, and law making is the work of legislature. So if judiciary enters into the law making process, then that is called as judicial overreach. I hope that's clear, Shubham. Sorry, Rishabh. Okay. Now coming to this one part, OPEC. So we have already discussed this article once in this week. Now again the same article is there. So what we have seen, that UAE, this has decided to quit. OPEC. It has decided to quit OPEC. Okay. Now the question is why? Why it has decided? Because OPEC, this OPEC is imposing quota limit on member nations. This is imposing quota limit on member nations. Okay. So now here, what is the issue? When we talk about UAE, it wants to increase production. It wants to increase crude oil production. UAE wants to increase crude oil production. Now, two very interesting factors have been given here. A very interesting part has been given here, that why UAE wants to increase its production. Why the UAE wants to increase its production. One thing is, right now what we see, higher prices at present, so more benefit. So there is a more benefit. There is a higher price at present of the crude oil. So UAE is thinking there is more benefit here, that if we are increasing the production, then it is going to be very much beneficial for us. There is a second point which has been highlighted by this editorial, and the second point says that UAE, UAE has realized that the time of crude oil is over. Time of crude oil is nearly over. Time of the crude oil is nearly over. What we see that now there is a switch. Now there is a switch to electric vehicles. There is a switch to hydrogen fuel. There is a switch to hydrogen fuel. There is a switch to ethanol. Now even Government of India has come with E100 concept. Government of India has also come with the E100 concept. So what we see here, that now they realize this one part. They realize this one part, that the crude time is almost over. We need to sell whatever we have. We need to sell whatever we have at the highest price which we can get. So they are thinking about this, that right now the prices are also high. The prices are also high. It used to be 50, 60 like per barrel. It used to be $50 to $60 per barrel. So what we see here, that the prices are also quite high. It is around $100 to $120 per barrel. So price is also quite high. And here what we see that the UAE is thinking, let's sell it off. Let us sell it off, get the maximum amount of money which we can get. Okay. And the second thing, it wants to diversify. It wants to diversify. So need investment. So it needs investment. So this is going to come through this area. So now we have an option. They are also thinking about that we need to diversify. The time of the crude is over. The time of the crude oil is over. Now the countries are going to switch. Who are the major purchasers of oil? China and India. China and India in Asia region. China and India are main purchasers. European Union, US. Now all these countries are switching over to electric vehicles, or they are switching over to ethanol or hydrogen fuel. So gradually what we see that there is a decreasing demand of the oil. There is a decreasing demand of the oil. In fact, in this last 1-2 months also, we may have seen this one part, that our import of oil is lower. Now even the common people of India are going to realize this. From this Gulf crisis right now, from this West Asia crisis right now, people may have started thinking about this, that the crude oil is always going to be vulnerable. The crude oil is always going to be vulnerable. Electric vehicles may be the better choice. So now there will be a general realization among the population also. There will be a general realization among the population also, that this is the time when we need to switch over to the electric vehicles. Like suppose if I have to purchase any vehicle in future, I will try to go for the electric vehicle, or I will go to try for the hybrid one, not the one which is on petrol or diesel. So why? Because we know that now this crude oil vulnerability is going to be there. It may be going on for like the crude oil may be available still for 5 years, 10 years. But then in future we see that there is no such future of the crude oil. There is no such future of the crude oil in the future also. So this is one of the part. Prospis juliflora, like last day we have seen, it is going to be used for the ships. So we are producing a green methanol. Which is going to be used for the ships also. So their oil is also getting changed. They are going to use methanol. The vehicles, they are going to run on E100. There is electric vehicles. You may have seen that across the country now, in many of the municipalities, we are having buses which are being run by municipality. They have become electric vehicles. Many of the buses which were there, they have gone either for CNG or they have gone for the electric vehicles now. So they are one of the major consumers of it. They are one of the major consumers of it, and when they are switching, it means the demand will automatically be lower. Now we see that the charging infrastructure is rising in India. Battery as a service is also increasing. So we see that there is rise of electric vehicles, there is a decline in this. That's why UAE is going for this one option. Okay. Now what will be the impact on OPEC? Impact on OPEC. So now we see that the OPEC is becoming weaker day by day. It is becoming weaker now. It is becoming weaker now. Okay. We see that this is the time when its power to determine price and production, its power to determine price and production, this is going to become weaker. So OPEC is now becoming weaker, and it is not that just UAE has left. You will see that it is not that only the UAE is exiting this OPEC. Prior to that, we have seen Angola has left it. Prior to that, we have seen that Qatar has left it. Okay. So many other countries, Indonesia has left it. Indonesia is also not in OPEC now. Qatar is also not in OPEC now. And we may see that in upcoming times, even Iran may decide that they are not going to be part of OPEC. Or some other countries may decide that they are not going to be part of OPEC. So that's power of the OPEC. The power of the OPEC is going to decline further in the upcoming times. So this is one of the part where we see that the crude oil has started to lose its relevance. The crude oil has started to lose its relevance in the geopolitics now. And this is going to be a challenge for West Asia. This is going to be a challenge for West Asia. West Asia has maintained its prosperity. West Asia has maintained its power through the control on oil production. They have maintained their power through the control on the oil production. And now, when this oil, the major base of them, when this is shifting, the power game is also going to change now. The power game in West Asia is also going to change now. So they have enjoyed it for more than 150 years. They have enjoyed it for 150 years. But now this is going to change. अब ये change हो रहा है. So I hope that is clear. The first part. We have already discussed in the past कि what is the impact on India. ठीक है. हाँ, बिल्कुल correct. तेल खत्म, खेल खत्म. Okay. So this is one of the part of West Asia. Now second article. Now the second article is with respect to this article is trying to show the linkage. It is trying to show the linkage between the child care and the learning outcomes. This article, this is in the context of it. What is the context? The context is about child care and learning outcomes. So here if we look at this, that what we have done for child care in India. In case of child care, what we have mainly done? We have seen that there is Anganwadi. There is a concept of Anganwadi. There is a concept of midday meal scheme. Okay. There is also concept of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. And there is also Swachh Bharat Mission. There is also Swachh Bharat Mission. There are multiple other schemes also, like we have got this midday meal scheme also, integrated child care development scheme, integrated child development scheme also, ICDS also. Now, in all these things, what we are trying to do, we are trying to ensure, okay, that there is health and nutrition. There is a focus on health and nutrition. Okay. There is a focus on access to safe drinking water. Okay. There is also like hygiene, which is trying to be maintained. Okay. Hygiene plus education. In all these schemes, which we are seeing, there is a focus. There is a focus that we are going to ensure all these things. We are going to ensure all these things, that there is a health and nutrition also. There is an improvement in health and nutrition also. There is access to safe drinking water also. A proper hygiene is also to be maintained, and at the same time education is also to be maintained. Okay. Now, as a result of this, have we seen improvement? Have we seen improvement with respect to these factors? Are there any improvement which you see? Do we see any improvement with respect to these schemes? क्या हमें कुछ इंप्रूवमेंट देखने को मिला है इन स्कीम्स के कारण? Are we getting some improvement due to these schemes? Tell me about this thing. To be honest, no. ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते directly. Cannot directly say no. Do we have some improvement? If you look at this, what we have seen, that there is a higher enrollment in schools, a higher enrollment in a school. We have seen that there is a higher enrollment in schools. Okay. At the same time, what we have seen, that reduction, like here we are including another part, ICDS, integrated child development scheme. ICDS is also there, which is related to child care. So we have seen that reduction in like under 5 mortality. We have seen that there is a reduction in under 5 mortality rate. Okay. There is one time nutritious meal. To students. Okay. One time nutritious meal to students. Then we have also seen that in this sequence we have seen lower dropout ratio. Then we have also seen that higher enrollment of girl child. We have seen that there is a higher enrollment of girl child also. Okay. Now at the same time, we have also seen that this opens up the opportunity for employment of the women. Okay. Employment opportunity. Why? Lower burden of child care. There is a lower burden of child care. Okay. So at least they are getting some time. They are getting some time in order to do some extra work also. Okay. So what we see that there is a higher enrollment in schools, there is a reduction in under 5 mortality, one time nutritious meals, lower dropout ratio, higher enrollment of girl child, employment opportunities, all these things are there. All these things are there. Now, coming to this part, we are not talking about the corruption right now. Here we are trying to link the child care, the policies, and its impact on the learning outcome. Now, here what we see here, that there are certain challenges which are existing. There are certain challenges which are still existing. There are certain challenges which are existing. Number one challenge is there is no coordination between these schemes. There is no such a single approach or unified approach. There is no such unified approach for handling all these schemes together. Like we have this one program called as the aspirational block program or aspirational district program, where we see that there is a convergence of different schemes. So there is a lack of convergence in the schemes. There is a lack of convergence in schemes. Although we are having a separate ministry, that is Ministry of Women and Child Care. Okay. So we are having a Ministry of Women and Child Care also, but despite this, what we see that there is a lack of convergence in the schemes. There is a lack of convergence in the schemes. We also see another part. Like there is a limited opportunity for women for full-time employment. There is a limited opportunity for women for full-time employment. Okay. Then we see this one part, the midday meal scheme. It is applicable to up to which class? ये जो मिड डे मील स्कीम है वो कब तक के लिए एप्लीकेबल होता है? दिस मिड डे मील स्कीम इज एप्लीकेबल अप टू विच क्लास? किस क्लास तक उनको ये बेनिफिट मिलता है? One day I visited a child care center where there was no cleaning in the washroom and there was continuously flowing water. That's true. And that is like across the country. It's not that there is only in one state or only in one part. We see that it is something which is across the states. Okay. Eighth class. Okay. So what we see that there is also, I also studied in Anganwadi. Mostly I visited there for soya bean khichdi. Lack of convergence scheme, limited opportunity, dropout of school after class 8. Dropout from the school after class 8. Now at the same time, what we see that lack of child care facility. Lack of child care facility in rural areas or semi-urban and even in urban areas. We are having lack of child care facilities. We are having a lack of child care facilities. So this is one of the part which we see, and that's why what we see that on the ground, when we look at it, the stunting is again high. At the ground, what we see that the malnutrition is still high. So due to all these factors, what is the impact? The impact is this: the malnutrition higher. We see that there is a stunting among children. There is wasting. Stunting is lower height. Okay. Stunting is lower height as compared to age. Then we have wasting also, low weight as compared to the age, as compared to the height. Okay. So we see that all these things are there. There is an impact on malnutrition, stunting, wasting, and overall, what we see that, like, they are not, this is not getting translated into real change at grassroots level. We are having so many schemes. Like many of you said in the beginning, to be honest, no. So why are you saying no? Because you have observed that despite having these several schemes, despite having these n number of schemes, the change in the society at grassroots level is almost negligible. We are not witnessing any change. We are not witnessing any change in the society. So this is one of the major issue. This is one of the major issue which we see. So now the thing is, so we have certain alternatives. Okay. We have seen that there are certain alternatives, like we have evidence of certain models. Like in case of Karnataka, there is a Kushina main. This is something which is community based childcare. Okay. We have something mobile creches, childcare near work sites. Okay. So childcare is something which has remained unsolved in case of India. Childcare is something which has remained unsolved in India. Then we see that we have already talked about the challenges with respect to midday meal. We have already seen that what are the challenges with respect to midday meal. We know about that. So in all these things, in all these problems, what can be the solution? It's not that we are not spending money on it. हम लोग आंगनवाड़ी पे भी पैसा खर्च कर रहे हैं, इंटीग्रेटेड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट पे भी खर्च कर रहे हैं. वी आर स्पेंडिंग ऑन मिड डे मील और पोषण, वट एवर यू कॉल इट. वी आर स्पेंडिंग so much money on all these things, and despite the expenditure of huge amount of money, we are still seeing that there is a lack of change at the grassroots level. Okay. I will come to your question, Aditya. I will come to your question. Okay. See, when we are talking about the solution, first of all thing we will need is the convergence of a scheme. Second thing which we need is monitoring of the scheme. What we need to do is focus on health plus education. Okay. So if there is a focus on health, it will automatically lead to better learning outcomes. This will automatically lead to better learning outcomes. This will automatically lead to better learning outcomes. What we also need to do is we need to ensure the social audit. We need to ensure the social audit for these schemes. A mandatory social audit. We need to ensure that there is a mandatory social audit for all these schemes. If there is a mandatory social audit, then we will see that the quality will improve. Then we will see that this quality is going to improve. The quality of care, the quality of care is going to improve if we are having a mandatory social audit. Yes, that can lead to proper administration of the schemes. So what we see that we are spending huge amount of money. And despite this, the things have not been changing on the ground. The things have not been improving on the ground. These institutions, the Anganwadis, the midday meal schemes, the integrated child care, so these all systems can become a very important tool, a very significant tool for the overall development at grassroots level. And again, we can take like community-based child care. So this is something which has again to be improved. Now in India, you may have seen that there are so many NGOs. Who are working for so many causes. So they should also be looking for this, that if they want a real women empowerment, it cannot come simply through some Instagram videos or tweets or some writing some books. If they want some real women empowerment at grassroots level, they should consider about providing child care facilities at rural level, so that women can get free from the burden of child care. Okay. So NGOs, the civil society organizations, they need to come forward. They need to work on the ground. Like again, I have always said this one part, that India is a country with tremendous opportunity. India is a country with a tremendous opportunity in each and every field. There is a tremendous opportunity. So if we are going to tap it, there is so many problems of society which can be solved. There is so much potential for service sector in India. We have not yet truly realized the service sector in India. Our service sector has mostly been concentrated in the field of like IT, software, customer support, etc. But there is a huge potential at ground level in India for service sector. You can see this example of the rise of the gig workers in India, like the Uber, the Zomato, Swiggy, and other platforms which are there. They denote this part, that how the service sector can grow in a tremendous manner. So this is one part. Here again we have a huge opportunity, and if it is being led by NGO, if it is being led by gram panchayats, so we are having gram panchayats can think about providing a creche facility. They can think about this, that they can provide some facilities where the children care will be provided, so women can get free of the burden of child care, and in that case they can contribute to GDP also. So this is one part which opens up many doors. There can be a better nutrition outcome, there can be a better learning outcome, there can be a better economic opportunity. Overall, it is going to transform the country. Okay. So I hope this part is clear. Now just this one information for all of you. We are having this prelims mock test. On 10th of May. So this is for those aspirants who are preparing for 2026. If you are giving for 2026, then you can enroll for this open mock test also, and it is going to help you to improve your performance. So this is there in offline also and online also. And at the same time there is also one part, that we are also going to have a UPSC mains test series also. So this is something which is going to be there from 5th of June. So here there will be comp evaluation, PDF with video solution, and mentorship with every test. So there is also a component of mentorship with every test. So this is one thing which we are starting from 5th of June. So this is there in offline also, and this is there in online also, in Hindi as well as English. Okay. So this is one main test series which is going to start. Okay. Now there was one question from Aditya, that should we have to count all words in answer including headings like conclusion, intro, main body, and words like a and the, etc. See here, when we talk about this, you don't have to write certain words, like no need to write, there is no need to write intro or no need to write these words intro or main body or conclusion. The first part and the last paragraph, the first paragraph and last paragraph are already understood, that the first paragraph is going to be introduction and the last paragraph is going to be conclusion. So no need to write this. In between you can give subheadings. In the main body, of course, you can use multiple such subheadings. So that is one thing which you can incorporate in your answer. Now the second part is, like, do we need to count the words like a and the, etc. See, it's not that they're exactly counting, they're exactly counting that how many words you have written including a and the, etc. On an average, when you are writing like 6 words and there is one like is, am, are, so generally it is ignored, so don't worry about this. And even if you feel that, like, if they count these words, so per line you are having a margin of 1 word, so accordingly you can plan. Okay. And if you are making flow charts, then the problem of word limit is already over. If you are making flow charts, then the problem of word limit is already over. Okay. So that's not going to be a challenge. See, in the mains answer writing, what you have to understand, that we have to give the content according to the demand of question. It should be clear, the meaning should come clearly. They are not much like looking for grammar or looking for sentence formation or use of jargons. They are trying to get the answer, they are trying to get the adequate content. See, Rishabh, there is 2 part of it. Look at this. It's not that the data is different. The data is like for different dimensions. There is a 11,000 rupees out of pocket expenditure in government facilities. That's correct. But people are not going to government facilities only. People are also going to private facilities. So when we count the private facilities, then the out of pocket expenditure is higher. So the first report was only touching some dimensions. The second report was touching other dimensions. So it depends on you. If we have to show this part that yes, things have improved. If you want to show this part that the things have improved, so use the data which is showing the lower out of pocket expenditure. If you have to show that there are still challenges, so you can show the data which we have seen, that how the out of pocket expenditure is still quite higher. Okay. So it can be done like that. I hope that's clear, Rishabh. There was one question from Mona also. See, your question was if you are writing the answer in between that, if you are looking at the content once again, so that is a problem. If you are writing something, read the content. Once you have gone through the content, then just close your copy and focus on writing the answer through your own memory. So if you are looking at the content again and again, then it means you have not understood the content. You have not been able to understand the concepts over there. So it's not that you have to memorize the words. You have to understand the concept. Once you understand the concept, there is no problem in that. But if you are thinking that you can memorize it line by line and then you can write it in answer, then you are mistaken. Okay. So that will be all for today. Thank you everyone. Let's meet on Monday then, and then we will discuss about some other editorial.